Hello and welcome to An Alternative Guide to Camden, Part 1. I'm your host, Nat Coombs, and over the next hour or so, I'm going to be guiding you through everything you'll ever need to see, do, and hear if you ever make it to the world-famous Camden Town in London, England. Or to put it another way, this podcast will show you how to enjoy your visit to the legendary Camden Town whilst avoiding A, paying that bloke outside the tube station who looks a bit like Michael Douglas after a 72-hour bender, 25 quid for an OXO cube, and B, arriving home in an ill-advised Jimi Hendrix tie-dye t-shirt with a rare copy of the Libertines Live, which turns out to be a recording of that bloke from outside the tube station, banging some wooden spoons on the carpet and pissing into a cup. Helping me do that are a panel of Camden heavyweights, made up of 2 comedians and a music promoter. And if that hasn't been optioned as the name of a Charlie Sheen sitcom, someone better make some phone calls. First up, one of the UK's finest character comedians, currently seen on our screens in the show Impractical Jokers on BBC Three, Mr. Marek Larwood. Hello, Marek.
Hello, Nat, and hello, fellow panellists.
Well,
Hello.
I'll
Hi.
introduce them in a minute.
Okay,
but
just hello, Nat, then. Sorry, ignore
let's
that.
concentrate on that. We've all got to establish our Camden creds from the outset, Marek. I've, for example, lived in Camden for 10 years or so, which means I'm qualified to appear on the show. I think that's fair to say. Marek, how about you? How much do you love Camden?
I love Camden so much. I come here every weekend. I had a girlfriend who's from Camden. I buy all my meat and shoes from Camden.
Really?
Yes. I only have conversations with people who live within a mile of Camden.
Right.
That's why you always ignore me.
Yeah.
That's why he never talks to me.
Well, alongside Marek, you just heard him, an acclaimed stand-up, one of the stars of the hit TV show Torchwood, and one of the few people whose newsfeed I haven't blocked on Facebook.
That's very kind. That's the greatest compliment you can pay someone these days.
Mr. Tom Price. Hello, what about your Camden creds, Tom Price?
Well, when I first moved to London, I lived in Kentish Town.
Right.
Which is nearly Camden. South Kentish Town.
We'll include it as Camden.
Thank you very much.
NW5.
What's that?
NW5.
NW5, that's it, man. Yes, bruv. So I spent a lot of time, those first few formative years when you first moved to London.
12 to 14.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I spent
Going
time
out,
in Camden,
just partying.
going out, just hanging out in the charity shops, getting some change outside Burger King off passers-by.
Great.
And,
So not much has changed in the last 15
no,
years.
exactly. And I haven't really moved on. I do not live in Camden anymore, but I've spent a lot of precious time here.
Good to have you with us,
It is,
Tom
it
Price.
is.
And alongside the boys, one of the hottest music promoters in the business, but don't take my word for it, he's current...
Say that.
Well, you are the current Live UK Awards Independent Music Promoter of the Year, Mr. Gary
If
Prosser.
that year was 2011, yes, you'll be correct.
Of last year. Well, we'll take it nevertheless. You're bringing a bit of rock and roll cool to proceedings.
I'll try to. I've lived in Camden for 17 years, man and boy, so
Yes.
I think I'm the most qualified.
You are. They are impeccable creds.
I'm going to
Impeccable
defer to Gary for all decisions that we make during this show.
It's a done deal. Let's get things started. And the first of our 2 episodes is going to concentrate on things to do in Camden during the day. The second part will be concentrating on what, Marek?
The evening and night time.
Absolutely right for 10 points. We'll start with each of our panellists describing their perfect day out in Camden. And Marek Larwood, we're going to start with you.
Well, first of all, I'd probably go to one of the shops in the market and just buy like a couple of pairs of pants just in case anything goes wrong.
Right, okay.
This is the night time, right?
Yeah.
And that's for the daytime, just so you know what I'm safe when I'm going out.
Yes.
And the first thing I do
Is there a particular pants store that you frequent? Or
I just go with something colourful, something that says I love Camden or I love London. You can probably get whatever type of pants you like, you can get them in Camden. Anyway,
Yeah.
I would probably go, for people who don't know, which is maybe people who are not from London, that there's a beautiful park called Regent's Park, which
Yes.
is just on the edge of Camden, which is one of London's finest parks.
It really is.
And I think during the daytime, before things get going, you can spend a nice morning there before the market really kicks off, and then perhaps visit the zoo.
the Great London Zoo, of course.
Yes, I mean, a lot of people don't like zoos, but I spent a lot of time in captivity.
Really?
And,
Really?
Yeah, and those animals have got it great there. It's not like it's a really lovely zoo.
There's a simpatico you have with the animals, is what you're saying.
Yeah, there's reptiles there for people who like reptiles. If you want them a bit quieter, go into the butterfly section.
What's
Yeah.
your favourite, can I ask?
We can't be when you've seen
Penguins.
a tiger close up. I think it's not the same. You can see them on TV, but close up, I mean, you think that is a beast.
Yeah.
That really is.
You
That is
Smell a
beast.
tiger.
That
You
is a
haven't
beast.
lived until you've smelt a tiger.
That's a beast to be admired. Penguins do smell a bit, actually.
There's a big penguin show at London Zoo they do a few times a day, isn't there? Where the penguins come out and perform tricks and that kind of thing.
That just sounds a bit cruel, to be honest.
Well, they seem to enjoy it, Price.
It doesn't feel like it feels like a really happy zoo, and there's a massive shop there. So if you're a parent of a child, you'll definitely end up spending at least £1,000.
Yeah, and you can't get out unless you go through the shop.
Yeah, it's very clever, but it's really well.
It's like Vegas.
I was really impressed because I went the other week and I was actually really impressed with the zoo. So I do that that's my morning done, and I come back into Camden and I probably go in Stables Market. There's a great by the canal. There's a great like food stall place where they've got lots of food. You name the food, they've got it. Moroccan,
Vietnamese,
yep.
Italian,
Yep.
Chinese,
Yep.
Eritrean.
Yep.
You're just saying yes, no.
They've
Colombian.
probably got about
Welsh.
40 or 50.
Really?
I mean, you can probably dine off the smell of that place.
Wow.
Good tip for that place. If you get there after 6 o'clock, everything's a quid.
Really?
Do that.
Oh yeah.
Why is that? Because otherwise they'd chuck it away. Is that
Just mountains of Chinese.
Now, Camden Market is, of course, one of the mainstays of Camden. And I guess one of the main reasons why tourists come to it. Gaz, I mean, you're a Camden resident. Do you ever go to the market? Is it full of tourists?
To be honest, I probably go to the market about twice a year, precisely for that reason. It is, I think there's about 14 million people that come through Camden Market
Per day.
every year per day.
But if you haven't checked it out before, of course, it's a must-do thing to do.
I certainly massively recommend it.
It's a fantastic. You can for an example, I was trying to write a comedy show one year, and we had about 3 weeks to write it. We went out of ideas, so me and my friend played a game where we gave each £20 to spend and walk around Stables Market, and we had to buy the weirdest thing and wear that thing around the market.
Yeah.
So I had some sort of 1920s weird, what they call not tiara, the one that come down, the head thing they used to wear. A skeleton glove, a scythe,
Yes.
a sort of odd necklace with sort of weird
Like a
sort of
Camp
feathers and
Skeletor
things.
style,
Yeah,
isn't it?
and some lady sunglasses. And my friend, who's 6'8", had a pork pie hat, some NHS glasses, a robot type glove, and some sort of golden belt. You can get, and that's a really good game to show you what you can get anything you could dream of at Camden Market. And the strange thing was, we were walking around this market for about half an hour dressed up weirdos, and no one even batted an eyelid. It's
Ironically,
totally normal.
That is true. I think so. That's a headline thing about Camden. Isn't it?
Ironically, that could be anyone in Shoreditch.
It's basically, if you're weird and you take yourself seriously, go to Shoreditch. If you're weird and you don't take yourself seriously, come to Camden.
Hang out in Camden. What?
It's a really laid-back
we might as well,
atmosphere, yeah.
We might as well
Yeah,
stop
definitely.
the show now, to be honest, after
Yeah.
that ringing endorsement, Brian.
Thanks, guys. Cheers. All the best.
We'll wrap it up. Cheers,
Thank
buddy.
you very much, guys.
See ya. Bye-bye.
So that would be my day. I think there's enough. There's
Love
enough to
that.
do there.
Very good. Well, we're going to hear from Gary and Tom later on about their perfect days in Camden, and you can tell the moment Marek started talking about Regent's Park, London Zoo, and Camden Market, just scratch marks going on everybody's paper. So you give you a bit of time to rethink if you've already had those ones.
There's more to Camden than the zoo.
They're
I'm
the
looking
obvious.
forward.
They're the
They're
obvious
obvious.
ones.
You've gone for the obvious.
that's what
He's gone big. He's gone in big, and I like that. Tom, next up is a snappy little segment our producer Harry has called You Might Not Know This, but I have got quick fire questions in my hand. And I'm going to ask you these around. We're going to go around. We're going to start with you, Gary, and go around the table. Okay, these are all about Camden.
Yep.
You might not know this, but what grim activity used to go on at the crossroads of Camden High Street, Parkway, and Kentish Town Road?
Oh, it's a tough one. Charity mugging.
No, so a good answer there.
I've
A
got.
solid
Can I
answer.
answer this
Yes,
one?
you may, Marek.
Was it, they used to hang the highwaymen there, did they?
Absolutely right. Executions. There was
Wow.
a gibbet.
Oh,
There, absolutely right. So there you go. Avoid that because that still could happen. Thumbs up from Tom Price there. Marek Larwood, you're next. Why were the Edinburgh Castle and the Dublin Castle pubs built? Marek, why were the Edinburgh Castle and Dublin Castle pubs built?
Because of the Queen.
Not the answer I've got on the card, Marek. You've got your hand up, Gary.
I think it's something to do when they built the railways, wasn't it? To keep they had the English, the Irish, the Scottish building the railways and wanted to keep them separated when they were drinking in the evening.
Absolutely right.
There
To
you
give,
go.
and I'm quoting Harry, the producer here, the navvies from Scotland and Ireland, somewhere separate to drink, so they wouldn't fight so much. The English drank in the Devonshire Castle, and the Welsh, Tom Price, your countryman, in the Pembroke
Toilets.
Castle.
Ironically, though, apparently they would meet at 11 o'clock in the evening and just have one big fight.
Big dust up.
and then go get some cheap food down the stable.
Okay, Tom Price.
Yes, my love.
The pressure's on. Did anyone get a point then?
No,
Good.
it's just
I've
not-
got
it's
a
all I
bonus
know.
point.
You've got
And that's not
Marek's
his
got
answer.
two. Which one of these people never lived in Camden? Tom, miserable but brilliant York.
Right.
Anthony,
Sorry, can I just say I saw Tom York at a Starbucks the other day?
you are a name dropper. Did you speak to him?
No, I didn't. But his face looked like my face in the back of a spoon.
Not a fan then. Well, he's one of the options.
Okay.
Anthony Giles from Buffy Head
Oh!
or Dylan, miserable poet Thomas.
Well, as a Welshman, I got to go for Dylan Thomas.
He's not right.
What?
Dylan Thomas has lived in Camden
You're
Town.
kidding me? When?
Marek, do you want to venture a guess, or Gary?
Yes, I think it's Tom York.
It is Tom York, Marek. You're storming ahead
That's
here.
why he's so miserable, because he never lived in Camden Town.
And here's one for you, Gary. Why was nearby Primrose Hill, which is, of course, we'll talk about the Primrose Hill set later, briefly
right.
called Greenberry Hill?
Greenberry Hill. Oh, something to do with Chuck Berry playing.
You know, the answer is so boring, I'm not even going to give it. And the final one, Marek. In February 2008, a fire destroyed a chunk of Camden Market and badly damaged celeb hangout, the Hawley Arms. Which pub saw an immediate upsurge in the number of MacBook Pros on the table when the Hawley was closed? Gary Prosser seems to know this.
The Frog and Tuppence.
No, fortunately, there's not actually a pub called the Frog Tuppence in Camden, but a nice effort.
Would it be the Prince of Wales by any chance?
It's not, no.
Yeah. Is it the Weatherspoons?
Well, I've got the Lock Tavern on my card.
I was going to say
it
that.
It was the Prince of Wales. Became popular.
Well, there you go. That was a fascinating segment, and I think one that we'll bring back later on in show number 2. Gary Prosser, your perfect day out. Take me there.
Perfect
Gary.
day out.
Take me
We'll
there.
probably start around 11 a.m. in the Crown and Goose for a bit of brunch and probably leave.
Now, the Crown and Goose is a gastro pub, foodie pub.
Yeah, on Delancey Street. Unfortunately, it looks like it's going to be knocked down next year, which is a shame.
So if you're listening to this podcast in 2014, ignore
great.
it.
Not there.
Great shout out there.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And a happy, optimistic shout out as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Then I'd probably head over to Primrose Hill for a walk.
Now, let's talk about Primrose, because I mentioned it a moment ago. Ubiquitous, of course, in the 90s, the mid-late 90s, particularly with the Gallagher brothers and Sadie Frost, Kate Moss, and it was the...
Jude Law.
Jude Law, thank you, Marek.
Sienna Miller.
Johnny Lee Miller.
Sienna Miller's brother.
Sienna Miller's brother. So you get the idea. The Hollywood
Absolutely, yeah.
A-listers. and
Windy
they're-
Miller.
Windy Miller. Windy Miller. So Primrose
Miller
Hill.
Djokovic.
Miller Djokovic. She did actually stay there for 2 weeks.
Polly Miller.
Okay, enough Millers.
well, I've been hanging out around there
So
a lot.
Primrose Hill was, would you say it's the obviously the richer end of Camden in terms of the property value, but what's Primrose Hill like now these days?
Well,
They've all
it's-
moved out, haven't they?
It's totally gentrified, yeah. I mean, apparently it was really rough in the 50s and 60s, but now, I mean, as you say, it is the elite of North London live there, and Primrose Hill is like their garden, I guess. you know.
And so Primrose Hill is the hill that connects Primrose
Absolutely,
Hill
yeah.
village to Camden Town.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah.
It's like a mini park.
I
Chris
actually
Martin.
I saw Ricky. I saw
okay.
Ricky Gervais over there the other day, power walking and slagging off Dermot O'Leary to his PA at the same time.
Oh,
What's he
he's
saying
really
about
careful.
Dermot O'Leary?
I just say he's useless or something.
We
like
can't bring that up on the. That might not have been Ricky Gervais. Can I qualify?
It definitely was
on behalf of
Ricky.
our
It definitely
sponsors?
wasn't.
I once saw, interestingly, Jens Slayman, the former Arsenal keeper, power walking around Primrose Hill. You can take that home with you. That's for you. Okay, so you're going to end
What
up.
was he wearing?
Well, it was kind of.
Did you have football with him?
Didn't have a football. He was wearing.
What was he wearing? If you can't think of what it is, this is a lie. This is
Well,
one
I
of the
can't
worst
remember.
lies
What
ever.
were you
I can't remember.
Jens
I only
Lehmann
saw him
around.
for 3 or 4 seconds. I can't
Oh,
remember
come
exactly
off it.
what.
Was he wearing the Arsenal
His hair
strip?
looked good. He had big hair. I've worked with Jens Slayman. Okay, I know Jens Slayman.
What was he wearing
I
when
see
you
him.
worked with him?
He wasn't wearing the. I've got television proof of that. Okay, back to Primrose Hill.
Primrose Hill, yeah, for a lovely walk. I mean, it's the most beautiful place to be in Camden in the summer. And then I would probably go over to the beach, which is what the Roundhouse started this year. They basically converted the whole outside area into a massive beach and built a Hawaiian bar there. And it was absolutely
Alex Garland wrote a book about it.
yeah,
That's
that
right.
beach.
That inspired him.
Yeah, no, they put down like 1,500 tons of sand and
Wow.
deck chairs. It was like absolutely amazing. So I would spend the day there making sandcastles, I think.
Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Okay, well, we're going to find out in part 2 of this show what your respective evenings would be, but that's pretty good going for now, I think. We're going to move things on. Okay, next up is a snappily titled segment called Would I Lie to You, Baby? Would I lie to you, Tom?
Yes, you probably would. Well, you have about this already. There's no live audience.
I lied about Jens Slayman as well, so I'm on a roll. This is where we're going to bring up 2 facts about Camden, each of us. One is real, it is true, and one is made up, fictitious. So it's Camden facts. We've got to guess which one of our facts is true and which one is false. Marek, why don't you start?
Okay, truth or fact? Truth or lie, isn't it? Fact
Yes.
or lie? Fact or lie?
We'll
Let me
go
do
with
it
that.
again.
That's good. We'll go with that.
Fact or lie? Fact or lie? Which one is it? You'll find out in a minute. Okay.
Great, good. I like that.
Okay. Fact or lie? The World's End used to be called the Mother Redcap. in the late 18th century, and the rumours has it that it was run by a witch. Truth or lie?
Interesting. So
How has that rumour
is it?
carried on for all this time?
Right.
If that's true.
the World's End pub, this is.
Yeah, was the main pub in Camden at a sort of crossroads, and the rumour has it was run by it's called the Mother Red Cap, and it was run by a witch.
Okay, so that's number one. And then what's the other?
The other, is this a truth or is it a lie? Camden Town is an anagram of the word swan.
It's tough. Tom, do you want to
I think it's
venture a
bang
guess
on.
on that one?
SWA. Yeah, swan.
Yeah.
That's false.
False. It is false.
So that by dint of that being false, I think that it's true that a witch. Well, you can say it's true. A rumor is. It's true that the rumor does exist.
Yeah.
Whether or not she was the witch is still TBC.
Yeah, I think I've messed up this section a bit. I'm sorry.
No,
Really,
I liked it,
mean,
Marek. I liked it. It was
I did
maybe
quite well.
easier
Yeah, you
than
remember them.
some would have hoped, but
Don't be
good.
down on yourself.
And we've learned about the witch thing.
Is it a good pub? The world's.
There's meeting points to come at the station.
Yeah.
The World's End, sort of the gothy place, or we
Yeah.
can go. Oh, there's a nice pub called the Camden Eye, which you can go to, which is a nice,
Like
nice
that
place
one,
as well.
like that.
Yeah. I like goth spotting in Camden. That is a great.
Goth spotting. What's
yeah,
that?
We just go to spot goths, like with trains. You know, when train spotters spot trains, you get a little book out and you write down the number of the train. All goths have got a number on them.
Is it, the goths are still around though? Because I thought
Yes,
I've
yes,
seen
Dad.
many
They-
of goths.
There's a special pub they go
That's
to in
amazing.
Camden.
So it was called the Devonshire Arms, but
Yeah.
it's quite near the Camden Eye, in fact.
Oh, okay.
And that's a special. You're only allowed in there if you're wearing goths.
You won't get in,
So
I'll get
goths
in
listening
otherwise.
to the show, that's where they want to go, the Devonshire
yeah.
Arms. So we'll talk more about pubs in the second part of this, but let's touch on it quickly.
Hmm.
Tribal pubs, Gary, in Camden. Presumably you go to a particular type of pub based on the music you like and the crowd that you run with. So
Yeah, if I'm up for a good night out, of course, it's the standard. It's the Hawley Arms. It's
Yeah.
where everyone gravitates.
why do the Hawley Arms become so famous?
It's the heritage. It's Amy Winehouse. It's her hanging around serving drinks behind the bar.
Yeah, and the good mixer was the prototype, wasn't it? Really? That was when
Britpop
Blur
pub.
and the Britpop
yeah,
bands.
back then it was Blur Menswear, the critically acclaimed Ballroom.
Good band.
Good band, great band. It would be around like the Spread Eagle and the Dublin Castle, Madness's pub. But it's shifted around. But I mean now
Is there a vintage time for music in Camden? Do you think?
For me, I mean, the best time was Britpop because it defined itself as a point in time for music. Because you had Blur, of course, you had Oasis going up against them, so it's very much the Camden versus the North. It was a good
so
time for music.
Camden felt like the Manchester.
Yeah, it was the centre of the universe for music.
Is it to some degree a bit like we've talked about this before? How the Sunset Strip in LA in the mid to late 80s when Guns N' Roses and all those bands came out.
Yeah.
And now you go to the Sunset Strip and there are bands 30 years later trying to do the same thing and they've missed the bubble.
It's quite funny, yeah. I
Has
mean,
Camden changed? Has it moved on, or do you still find a lot of bands doing the same thing?
you do. I mean, if you could go to the Good Mixer now, and it is like taking a step back in time because a lot of them have stayed there. They've found their pub and they haven't moved. It's like going through Madame Tussauds.
Yeah.
But good.
But good. I mean, of course.
Mitt Romney's not in the Good Mixer.
I mean, like the Hawley.
Nor is she in Madame Tussauds.
Yes, he is.
The Hawley's got very touristy now because of the Amy Winehouse legacy. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's best avoided on Fridays and Saturdays. But it's good drinking hole during the week.
So, Pricey, what about you? A true thing and a false thing. We've got to guess which one is.
Okay, fine. All right, here we go. True or false?
You can do the jingle.
Yeah, I was going to do it.
Can we have? Are you going to do it, or is Marek going to do the jingle?
No,
I'd
you do
rather
your
it
own
for
one.
my own. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
True or false? False or true? Is it true? Is it false? It's up to you.
I like that.
I prefer Marek's.
Can we
to be
use
honest.
that for everyone, please?
Camden Lock is so named because it's where Mike Banham, inventor of the lock, lived. Is that true or is that false?
Camden Lock is so named because where Mike Banham, inventor of the lock. Okay, and your next
Other fact, the Jazz Cafe opened in 1890. Is that true or is that false?
The Jazz Cafe, of course, one of the most famous venues in Camden on Parkway, which doesn't actually have that much traditional jazz anymore. You tend to get a lot more R&B acts that play
Wasn't
there.
jazz invented in the 20s? So
Well, I suppose
Smart, Alec.
Oh, you've rumbled him. I am going. That's the false one.
Yeah, they're both
I
false.
think
They're
he's bluffing
both
me.
false.
They're both false.
I can't believe you tried
There were
to bluff
locks
us
before. There were locks before the lock thing.
Yeah.
Standard thing. A
Locks
lock's a standard thing.
before. Yeah, that's
Can
true.
I just say, just to sort of fact you up fully on this,
Yeah.
the Jazz Cafe actually opened in 1990, which is about 70 years after jazz was invented. You're welcome.
Yeah, that's sticking two
That's
fingers
how
up.
on the money Camden is. It waits 70 years, then it opens a joint.
We're supposed to be bigging up Camden.
No, sorry, it's good. Jazz Cafe's great.
Bearing in mind, David Hasselhoff has played there, and I don't think he was doing his jazz.
Hasselhoff has played at the Jazz
Probably has
Cafe.
some jazz mags.
Yeah, amazing. Has he really played there?
I believe so. Yeah.
Remarkable.
I think
Don
he's played
Johnson-
everywhere, hasn't he? I think he was outside with a guitar and a hat. I don't think it's...
Listen, if you said that stuff about David Hasselhoff to his face,
Yeah, it's smash your face in.
yeah, so watch a lot of people I know mates with him, so watch
Yeah,
what you
sure.
say about him, right?
Same with Eddie.
Very good point, Marek.
Who do you know who's mates with him?
Well, I
Cameron
can't
Anderson?
say, but I know people. lot
Okay,
of my
I've got a
mates
fact about Camden.
A lot
See
of
if
my
you can
mates
guess
are
if
mates
this is
with
true
him.
or false.
Yeah.
There's a house in Camden, just off Camden Square,
True.
which that is true, which if you look at it with a squint, looks exactly like Tom Cruise in Magnolia. Is that true or false?
I think that's quite a subjective question. But
I think, given the fact that you used to live near there, that's probably you walking to work every day without your glasses on.
and a hangover.
It's every day.
What number was the house?
It's double figured. It's
Double
not a
figured.
single number. It's 10 plus.
Or odd or even?
It's odd.
Well, I'd say yes then.
Correct is the right answer. Marek Larwood, congratulations. That is the right answer. Number 11, Camden Mews. Just go up to it and squint, and you will see Tom Cruise in Magnolia. So, Gaz, what about you? Have you got a true or false fact about Camden for us?
I do. The Black Cap is
The Black Cap.
The Black Cap is a heterosexual pub in Camden.
That's false.
Great, thanks, Gaz. Moving on. All right, in the absence of Lou Reed, Tom Price is going to let us into his perfect day.
Right. So what I would do, and this is what I used to do when I lived in Kentish Town. Kentish Town still counts as Camden, right? Because it's sort of extreme North Camden. The Kentish Town swimming baths. Do you know about this? On Prince of Wales Road.
Yeah.
When I lived in Camden about 10 years ago, it was pretty scary. There were more hairy backs in there than Crufts.
What was
right?
scary about it?
Just lots of scary old men. Basically, that's because it was a bit of a dive. But they've spent £20 million renovating it, and it's this beautiful old Victorian building. So it's a really good way to start the day. Actually, obviously, quite a weird thing if you're a tourist to come to Camden and
Go for a swim.
get your speedos out and have a swim. But it honestly is worth a visit, and it's brilliant, and it's quite cheap as well.
Well, it's a good point, I guess, if you're coming in the summer too. Not that
Exactly.
many hotels have pools in London,
Right,
Compared to other cities that you might be on holiday in,
Yeah.
and
it works up an appetite.
yeah.
Which is what you want when you're in Camden, because Camden is great for food. So after that, I would, after my swim, 5 or 6 widths, I'd then head down to central Camden. Now, there's a place that I used to go when I worked in Camden. It's a little Vietnamese restaurant that is literally a box with a Vietnamese man standing behind it, but it's unbelievable. It's the best food I've ever eaten in my life. So it's in Camden Lock. If you're coming north, so you're coming from the tube,
Yep.
and you're about to go, you go left into Camden Lock, just under the railway bridge. It's on your immediate left. In there, there's this little indoor market bit, and there's this just in the corner. And you'll if you go at lunchtime, it's busy because all the people who work in Camden
and they know.
go and eat
They
there.
know.
So that is my tip.
If you went in, I suppose, and said, "Can you point me in the direction of Tom Price's Vietnamese guy?"
They'll
It's
know.
literally a box.
I've got several Vietnamese guys. That's the only problem. So
Okay.
we'll not go into that. So I'd definitely go there. Then do a bit of shopping around that bit. The Lock, the market around there is absolutely fantastic. And then after that, to finish it all off, because you've burnt the calories off with the swim, and Vietnamese food isn't that calorific. I would then go to the diner on Jamestown Road.
I love that place.
See that? You hear that response?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
they do the
up.
most fantastic milkshakes. They do milkshakes with malt in. So and also
That's
the
an American themed diner, isn't it?
Exactly so. What's great about it is that the staff have been told to act a little bit American and happy, but they're
Yeah.
clearly on minimum wage.
Yes.
They're
Yeah.
clearly
From
on
Norway.
medication. Yeah, they're not into it.
Yeah.
At all. So that's quite a lot. And also they've got booths in there. So if you want to dump someone, it's a great place to go and finish a relationship.
Why is that? Why in a booth? Why is that such a?
Because it's a bit more private and intimate. You're not going to. No one else is going to see her crying or him crying. And then after that, you can go and leave and hit the night of Camden Town.
Well,
pull.
beautiful, beautiful stuff. So let's piece this day together. So you went to the zoo, Marek, didn't you, at one station? The website for London Zoo is zsl.org. If you want to check it out and work out how to get tickets for that. Membership to the zoo is terrific, by the way.
Yeah.
Not so much if you're a tourist, obviously,
Or a
coming.
lion.
But if you live in or around London, I think membership to the zoo. And you've got kids as well. I'd recommend it.
If you're in this neck of the woods in summer, go to Regent's Park, and they've actually got cricket pitches on the back of the zoo.
Yes,
Sometimes
that's right.
I play there, and
We've had a game
I believe
of
we've had a
cricket.
game there together.
We've had a game of cricket.
And there's actually a pitch right next to the Lions enclosure.
Yeah.
And I once saw a person drop a really easy catch because the lion roared. I swear to God, the lion roared when the ball was in midair and he dropped the catch.
Amazing.
So it's great to go on.
Absolutely. So yeah, worth it. It's great because one of the things I'm a member of the zoo. One of the things I find great about it is normally when you go to somewhere like London Zoo and you've paid a lot of money to get in, you feel like you have to cram everything in, and you know it's a race to see everything, and you're knackered.
Yeah.
Whereas if you remember, you can just pop in for half an hour,
Yeah.
have a sandwich near the giraffes, and just leisurely.
Yeah.
We're just going to do pigs today, Colin.
So Marek picked the zoo, and I like that. What else you had on your list, Marek? You had
The zoo, and then I went for the really obvious ones and stayed
went for
with
the
the
market.
market. I went for lunch at the food. The market's got quite a lot of different sections to it.
That's right. So there's the stables market, where the distinction of the markets, guys. You know the markets pretty well. So Camden Lock Market and the stables market.
Yeah.
What's the main difference between the two?
They're owned by two different people.
Could be separate entities.
They are. I mean, the Camden Lock Market has the heritage.
That's the famous market.
Yeah, it's where Dingwalls comes from. So you've got the heritage of all the huge bands there that played, in the 70s and 80s.
The Lock Market is probably better if you want sort of retro clothing and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
Lots of
absolutely.
leather goods.
Lots of leather.
There's a lot of
I like
leather
leather.
there, so-
Okay, and then Gary, you popped into Primrose Hill, which is definitely worth a look, and there's some good restaurants in Primrose Hill.
Yeah.
As well.
I mean, great gastro pubs as well. Lansdowne, Engineer,
Yeah.
Lamonia, which has been there forever.
Terrific.
In fact,
Amazing,
just take a
right?
walk down
Isn't it?
Regent's Park Road. It's gorgeous.
You head up to Primrose Hill Village.
Bookshop on Regent's Park Road as well. I forgot what it's called, but it's all good around there.
Look it up, Regent's Park Road Bookshop. I'm sure you'll find that. And of course, the
beach.
The beach at the
Beach.
Roundhouse. So we're going to talk a lot about the
it's a
Roundhouse in the
must.
second show.
Right.
It's a legendary venue, of course, and the beach, well worth checking out. And wash it all down with a milkshake at Tom Price's Diner.
It's not my diner, nor is he my Vietnamese man.
Neither of them are actually officially
Is
connected.
this after you've dumped her, or is this
During.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think the great thing is you don't really need to plan too much. It's one of those places in Camden where you can walk around and you can enjoy just walking around. You feel like you're doing something just walking around.
It's very intense, very dense.
It'd be quite interesting if they had like an I'm a Celebrity, get me out of here, but not in the jungle in Australia, but just drop them by Camden Tube Station.
Yeah.
What about art galleries, guys? Because during the day, that's something that you would typically want to do. There's the Proud Gallery, which is
Proud,
probably
which is photographic mainly. They do a lot of band stuff.
music-based stuff.
Band as in it's not allowed, as in it's illegal.
yeah.
Awesome.
Yes, the
Cobb
blue Mm-hmm.
Studios
cord.
as well. The Cobb Gallery is apparently very highly regarded.
Even if you walk towards the market, no one really says this, but the actual shops themselves are fascinating. All the facades of the shops and the art people do on there. It's quite a good photo opportunity if you are a tourist or if you are somebody who likes
Photos.
interesting outsides of shops.
Well, if there's one thing, and that's what the final part of this show is called, one thing, one piece of advice you could give to anybody visiting Camden,
Yeah.
what would that be?
I've got an absolute belter. This is quite a sort of dad tip, right?
Yes.
But a lot of people would be scared to drive to Camden. Don't necessarily do that because there's a big Sainsbury's, right?
That's
and
right.
You can park there for 2 hours for free.
Great tip.
Or you have to pay, you have to buy some shopping there for a tenner or something. Basically, there's always spaces there, and it's 2 hours. I essentially think of it as 2 hours free parking.
Genius.
Now, not necessarily a very enriching experience to go and see the Camden Sainsbury's car park, but
You'd
one
be
that I can
surprised.
recommend heartily.
You'd be surprised about some of the stuff that goes on down there. I can tell you, Mara,
I
what about
wouldn't.
you?
My tip was a bit embarrassing. My tip's trying to fit in to look like a Camden person.
Oh, right, okay.
And what I've done is, it's quite awkward because Gary's doing this very same thing that I've written down in print.
Winning.
And I've written down, I will wear some sort of scarf around your neck.
Oh,
Yes,
look, he's
Gary
wearing
has
it.
that. Yeah.
Warning, it cannot be big enough to actually constitute a scarf.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
a bit of cloth that has no use whatsoever
Yeah.
other than to be regarded as a pointless fashion item. It's there in print. And,
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
and
that's
then
what Gary's wearing.
And it is 80 degrees in here, so
It is. And he's got rock and roll hair as well. So there you go. So
that
Marek,
makes you look cool in Camden, I think.
So look cool. Follow Marek's fashion tips. I like that.
Gary's scarf is actually really nice. I'm sorry I didn't.
It is a nice scarf. I don't think he took offence to it, Marek. So don't worry. And what about you, guys?
I mean, for tourists, I would get down on the canal, take the canal boat. It goes down the canal, and you can see London Zoo either side, and it takes you all the way down to Little Venice, yes, to Newcastle.
I'm glad you brought that up, Gaz, because LondonWaterbus.com is a good.
That's the one.
Is a good business to choose if you want to, because there are various businesses vying for your trade. That seems to be the one that everybody on the inside likes, and it's about an hour long, isn't it? The trip.
Yeah.
You zip up the canal, you get it from Camden Market,
Camden Lock, yeah.
Camden Lock, and you head up to Little Venice, where a lot of boats are
Moored up.
and
Yeah.
moored up, and you can wander around Maida Vale, which is an area, and then zip back.
Yep. Sit back.
I would say, we talked about the market a lot, get to the market early when they're setting up. That's quite a sight to behold. And you'll of keep a quite close eye on that Vietnamese food as well, Price, to make sure.
Yeah, I'll let him know that you're coming.
Okay, please do. Alrighty, well, that's it. That's all we've got time for in the first part of An Alternative Guide to Camden. How exciting was that, fellas?
Pretty exciting, but
Woo!
it's getting dark outside now. Whatever next?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that. Part 2 of An Alternative Guide to Camden is coming up, and it's all about things to do in Camden at night, and it's available to download from iTunes, Stitcher, and via www.thecamdeneye.co.uk. You can also get involved by hashtagging your suggestions and memories of Camden with the hashtag MyCamden on Twitter or Instagram, and those lovely chaps at the Camden Eye will be picking their favourites and rewarding you with prizes. So until next time, from Marek Larwood, Gary Prosser, Tom Price, Harry the producer, and me, Nat Coombs, goodbye.
Goodbye.
The music for An Alternative Guide to Camden was written and performed by the Damn Jamish, Danny Rapscallion and Jasmine Daniels. An Alternative Guide to Camden is a Mimo Interactive production for the Camden Eye.